I spent 3 years paying for my son's life, believing love meant sacrifice. I paid his rent, bought his furniture, filled his refrigerator, and emptied my savings so he would never struggle. I believed that one day, when it mattered most, I would stand beside him with pride. I imagined myself quietly present, not important, not loud, just there. I imagined holding his hand, smiling at his first steps into adulthood, sharing in his happiness. But when I finally asked about his wedding, my daughter-in-law looked at me with that calm, chilling smile and said, "We already got married. We only invited special people." In that moment, the truth hit me harder than any slap ever could. I was not family. I was not loved. I was only useful, and this is the story of the day I stopped paying to exist in my own son's life. For 3 years, I had paid their monthly rent of $500. I bought every piece of furniture in their home. I filled their refrigerator when they had nothing to eat. I paid for birthdays, holidays, emergencies, repairs, and things they simply wanted. I remembered the times I canceled my own doctor appointments so I could transfer money to cover an unexpected bill for them. I remembered skipping vacations, skipping gifts for myself, skipping small joys, always thinking they mattered more than me. I stood there in the living room of my own house, holding my phone like it weighed 1,000 pounds, watching my son avoid my eyes while Lena sat comfortably on the sofa I had bought for them. In my closet hung a pale pink dress I had carefully chosen for her wedding, with new shoes beside it, both untouched. I had spent $200 imagining how I would look in my son's wedding photos I would never be in. I had saved $1,000 as a wedding gift. I had called my sister in Chicago to share the joy. I had cleaned my house, thinking they would come celebrate with me. All of it disappeared in a second with 4 poisoned words. Only special people. I remembered the small moments of my life devoted to them. The nights I stayed awake waiting for a call to see if they had enough to eat. The days I drove miles to deliver groceries. The birthdays when I smiled through exhaustion, arranging parties that I would barely enjoy. My heart ached as I realized that all of it, the sacrifices, the love, the hope, had been taken for granted. My son finally spoke, his voice rehearsed and distant, saying it had been small, intimate, just witnesses. But I knew it was a lie. I saw the photos online. I saw Lena's parents smiling proudly. I saw her siblings raising champagne glasses. I saw the white wedding dress I had helped pay for with the $800 I gave her the month before. I saw everything I wasn't meant to see. 7 days later, Lena called again. Her voice was different this time. No confidence, no superiority, just panic. The rent was overdue. The landlord was threatening eviction. I had forgotten to make the transfer. I stayed silent, remembering all the times I had rushed to the bank, skipped meals, canceled my own plans so they would be comfortable. Then I said calmly, "Didn't I tell you I only help special people?" The silence on the line was heavy. She said she didn't understand. She said we were family, lies wrapped in sweetness. I remembered the hundreds of times I had told myself, "This is love. This is what it means to be a mother." I realized now it was exploitation. That night, I cried, but not from sadness. I cried from anger, from years of swallowing humiliation, from realizing how completely I had erased myself. I cried for the woman who believed that love meant endurance without limits. I cried for every skipped meal, every canceled trip, every penny given without a second thought for my own life. When I woke up the next morning, something inside me had shifted. I looked at myself in the mirror and saw the same tired eyes, the same wrinkles, but also something new, something firm. That morning, I didn't call my son. I didn't wait for an apology. I made coffee and sat at the table where I had planned their lives for years, and for the first time I planned my own. I opened my bank statements and did the math. 36 months of rent, food, gifts, emergencies, furniture, repairs, loans never repaid, $3,400, money taken from my savings, my pension, my late husband's inheritance. All of it spent on 2 adults who couldn't even pretend to respect me. I remembered late nights calculating how I would stretch every dollar to keep them comfortable, and I realized now it had been in vain. My phone rang again and again. I let it ring, then I turned it off. At the bank, I canceled every automatic transfer. I blocked access to my accounts. The manager asked if I was being pressured. I told him the truth. I had finally stopped pressuring myself. When I walked out, I felt lighter than I had in years, as if the weight of invisible chains had lifted from my shoulders. That afternoon, I came home and found 3 cars outside. They were inside my house. With a lawyer, they went through my papers. They said they were worried about my mental health. They said my behavior was strange. They said confusion was normal at my age. That's when I understood what they were doing. They wanted control. They wanted my money. They wanted to declare me incompetent. I told them to leave. I threw their power of attorney papers into the trash. When my son warned me I would end up alone, I told him the truth. I already was. The difference was that now it was my choice. The confrontation was tense. Lena's eyes narrowed, her voice trembling. "Mom, we never meant to hurt you." But I had stopped listening. I realized their apologies had always been timed, always for convenience. My son tried to reason, "Mom, think about everything we've been through." But the only thing I thought about was the years I had given blindly. I thought of all the moments I had silenced my own needs, believing their comfort was my purpose. I was done. The next morning, I hired my own lawyer. He told me what they had done had a name: elder financial abuse. We documented everything, changed my will, secured my assets. I changed the locks, installed cameras, opened a new bank account, and then I did something I hadn't done in years. I lived. I walked without purpose. I read books. I reconnected with people. I slept without fear. I remembered walks in the park with Max as a child, the laughter that had once filled my home. I allowed myself to breathe again, fully. The letters came first, demands, threats, guilt disguised as family duty. My lawyer answered them. They stopped, and something else happened that surprised me. My son and his wife survived without me. They worked, they adjusted, they figured it out, which meant they always could. They just didn't want to. Months later, my son came alone. No demands, no money requests. He said he understood now. I listened, but I didn't rescue him. Love, I had learned, does not require self-destruction. It does not demand erasure of self. Today, my house is quiet, but it is not empty. It is full of peace, dignity, and something I had forgotten I deserved. I used to believe a good mother gives until nothing is left. I believed silence was strength and sacrifice was love. I was wrong. Love without respect is not love. It is control. I didn't lose my son when he excluded me from his wedding. I lost myself when I taught him that my worth was measured by how much I could give. I don't beg anymore. I don't rescue anymore. I don't explain myself anymore. I chose myself, even if it meant walking alone. Because being alone with self-respect is far better than being surrounded by people who only see you as a wallet with a heartbeat. I am no longer needed. I am no longer used. I am finally free. I am alive. I am seen. And for the first time in decades, I am enough.